Welcome back to the Resident Evil The Complete Story. How can I welcome you back if this is part 1? Simple. We had so much background story without any images or gameplay that we created a prologue episode. So while I'm going to explain some of this stuff again, if you want a better understanding of things, such as when the virus was first discovered, when Wesker entered the picture, or the story behind Trevor, go check out that prologue episode. On that episode, we asked you guys to tell us what your favorite Resident Evil was, so go ahead and enjoy your responses as we go through our normal disclaimer. The question for this episode is, what is your favorite Resident Evil character? Personally, I like Chris Redfield. I've always wanted his triceps. Watch him crush walnuts! Time to disclaim. While I would love to spend hours upon hours going over every little plot point, side plot, and subplot to the Resident Evil games, we just don't have that kind of time in our main 5-part story series. What this means is that we're going to be giving you enough of the plot's information so that you understand what's going on if you were to pick up any game in this series. If we miss a key plot point to the overall story, that's a mistake. If we omit something, it's probably to keep the story flowing and understandable. Also, we're going to be going over the key characters here, not the 90th extra partner that pops up randomly. So in short, the purpose of this series is to allow you to understand the overall plot to the game and be able to discuss it. You got all that? Good. Time to get into character. Evil voice begins. For those who missed out on the prologue, the T-virus was originally discovered in the 1960s by the Ashford family, Spencer, and James Marcus. It was discovered in a flower and found to give supernatural powers through bonding with DNA of whatever it touched. To try and find out how far they can take it, testing commenced by the 3 parties involved. Years passed as the Umbrella organization was formed, and each member of the original Discovery team developed his own viruses and goals from their discovery. Currently, our story follows the research of James Marcus. James Marcus had tested the T-virus on leeches before Umbrella had him killed to steal his research. It was Albert Wesker and William Birkin who stole the research and gave all the credit for his discovery and development to William Birkin. When they killed Marcus, they neglected to eliminate his current research though. Over the course of 10 years, the Queen Leech, which was the final leech that James Marcus was working on, has bonded with his DNA. This allowed it to take on all of his memories, including those in which Umbrella had him killed to steal his research. To enact revenge for its master, the Queen Leech version of James Marcus released the T-virus in the Arklay Mountains Mansion facility. The mansion facility was outside of Raccoon City and quickly became overrun with zombies. Umbrella assembles a team to attempt to reclaim the labs. This project, dubbed the Reclamation Project, is led by Albert Wesker. After some initial decisions are made, it is concluded that the facility needs to be destroyed to remove any incriminating evidence that Umbrella was involved. Albert Wesker is involved in this decision, and it is decided that Albert Wesker and his STARS team will be used as guinea pigs to test the combat data. The 2 tyrants within the mansion facility will be released, and their fights with the members of STARS will be the collected data. Wesker then discovers that another organization within Umbrella intends to steal the combat data for their own research. He offers to steal this data for them and secure a tyrant as a gift in a gesture of his intentions to side with them. Spencer, one of the original founders of Umbrella, decides that in order to make sure that he gets his data, he's going to send in his own team consisting of Sergei Vladimir and his personal tyrant to collect some of the data. The poor members of the elite STARS team know nothing and are about to fight for their lives. The zombies run free in the mansion labs until the local town of Raccoon City begins to notice mysterious deaths in the mountains near them. They publicly announced that they would send in a team from their elite group STARS to investigate what was happening in the mansion. STARS Team Bravo is assembled and sent into the area by helicopter. Wesker is using them to test the BOWs, obviously, so he sabotages the helicopter's engine. Upon crashing, the team decides to split up and see what's been happening within the forest. It is at this time that we begin to follow Rebecca Chambers through Resident Evil 0. Rebecca and her team begin to disperse within the forest to figure out what has happened. After losing a few members of the team and finding various scenes of carnage, she begins to investigate a local wrecked train.
During this time, Wesker and Birkin are monitoring the events happening within the mansion facility. A man that they thought was dead, James Marcus, goes to one of the cameras and taunts them, explaining his entire reasoning for getting his revenge and using the leeches as he continues his attack on the research facility and on the nearby ruined train. It is that very same train that Rebecca is on at this time. She has met with Billy Cohn, a former Marine, and the two of them begin to fight for their lives, defending themselves from Marcus's leeches. They manage to stop the speeding train as it stops in front of an underground facility. Without very many other options, the two decide to explore the facility. And it is here that they discover the virus was found by James Marcus, Spencer, and Edward Ashford. It is also here that much of the backstory is revealed, as we discover that Ashford actually wanted to help the handicapped with the virus's regenerative effects. But upon his death at the hands of Spencer then moved forward in trying to create and discover a biological weapon potential within the virus. It is Spencer and Marcus's research with leeches that has led to the situation that we know now. Wesker and Birkin, in an attempt to steal the research information for Spencer, killed Marcus, which caused his corpse to bond with the Queen Leech, and the Queen Leech version of Marcus came to this facility to release all of the experiments to get his revenge and cause our current hell. Meanwhile, back with Wesker and Birkin, Wesker saw the coming end of Umbrella. The facility in the mountains was still overrun and the creations of Umbrella were coming back for revenge, and on top of that, he was seeing all the different factions within Umbrella fighting internally. Wesker took all of this as a sign and used the incident as an opportunity to defect to the opposing organization named the Third Organization. His plan was to continue gathering all the data from the incident and possibly get a tyrant to give to the new organization so he can prove his loyalty. Birkin plans to stay and create a stronger G-Virus, and due to this differing view, Wesker and Burton finally part ways forever. William Birkin rushes to the bottom of the research facility, fending off zombies while he backs up all of the G-Virus data for later use. He then activates the self-destruct system in the basement and flees the facility. Meanwhile, Rebecca and Billy are pitted against the Queen Leech version of James Marcus in the currently self-destructing research facility. All the final details of the origins of the virus are finally revealed to our heroes. But as we went over the origins of the virus in the prologue and touched on it here, I won't be going over the whole thing again. The fight ends with the destruction of the research facility as Rebecca and Billy flee just in time to save their own lives. During this though, on his way back to meet with the STARS Alpha team, Wesker runs into Sergei Vladimir. Aware of Wesker's betrayal and believing him to be disloyal to Spencer, Sergei launches a version of the Ivan Tyrant in Wesker's direction. This would have been the end of Wesker, except that the training facility explosion saved him. Sergei was aware of Wesker's survival, but chose not to chase him and instead proceeded to attempt to recover a test subject from within the laboratory facility underneath the mansion. Rebecca and Billy meet atop of a hillside overwatching the Spencer mansion and bid their farewells. Billy chooses to flee this whole situation, while Rebecca heads towards the nearby mansion to see if she can find the rest of Team Bravo. After a full day of no contact from the Bravo team, STARS Alpha team is sent in to find their friends. They begin by investigating the forest and are attacked. In fear, Brad Vickers the pilot flees and Joseph Frost dies. In a hurry, the remaining members of the team flee to the nearby mansion. Chris Redfield, Jill Valentine, Burton, and Albert Wesker all take refuge there. Albert Wesker is with the team in an attempt to ensure that the last of the testing is completed properly and that he can secure all the data for the Third Organization. With that, we enter Resident Evil 1, but you're gonna have to join us next time to find out what happens in that game.
Alright, and with that, we're gonna try something a little different at this point, and instead of a full recap, we're just gonna make sure that you're following all the key points to the story. A full recap turns out to be very, very long near the end, so we just wanna make sure you guys are following along. Right now, Spencer is in charge of the Umbrella organization and is trying to find a good biological weapon use for it through testing. The outbreak happened because one of the creations was attempting to get its revenge, and Albert Wesker is actually trying to gather data to defect to an opposing organization. With that, we're going to take our first break. We'll be trying to get the next episode out next week, but if you've watched the channel update, you know we're a little bit behind. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook to know when the next episode launches, and make sure you subscribe to the channel for everything that we create. Also, don't forget about the completed Metal Gear and Zelda complete storylines, and the ongoing Bioshock one brought to you by Zydeco Candy. Oh, and one final question for the next episode. What is your favorite character in the entire series? I know Leon's a fan favorite, but I personally like Chris.